This is the life, guys. I tell you what, it's all worthwhile. Lots and lots of hours gone into this build, but when you've got the buff out and you can see the light at the end of the tunnel, it's all worth it. Howdy YouTube, and welcome to another episode of the Gunman. So back in the lab, yeah, it's holidays for me actually, but hey, no rest for the wicked, as they say. Time to polish that Torana. So I thought I'd just give you guys a quick look at the off the gun finish. All things considered, considering that it has 4 coats of clear on it, and it's a 3-stage pearl, that is an impressive finish and gloss retention. So it's been about 5 months since I've painted, well, 4 or 5 months or so since I've painted it. So I've given it enough time to sort of fully cure up, and I'm happy that, yeah, I'm ready to polish it now. So gonna block it back, and yeah, just thought I'd give you guys a quick close-up look at it before I do start. So it's, like I say, it really doesn't even need a polish. That's the absolute truth of it. But it's sort of more of a hobby car for me. It's a bit of fun. So yeah, I just thought I'd give you a quick look at the bonnet, because I have already done the bonnet. So I have managed to sort of refine my procedure a little bit. Yeah, what I would have done at the start of this job compared to what I'm doing now has changed a little bit, but as you can see there, we're getting a very nice glassy flat finish out of it. So I have gone and done a separate video where I went through all the products and materials that I'm going to be using and the procedure that I'm currently doing. So if you haven't seen that, you should probably go and see that first, although you don't need to. We'll be basically using everything that I was talking about in that video. But one thing that's pretty important is keeping that sandpaper clean. You don't want big bits of sand or dust in between there, because when you're sanding, they can get caught up and cause a big scratch in the paintwork. So I've already gone and cleaned that panel down, so there shouldn't be too much, well, there shouldn't be any dust on it. But yeah, always have a few microfibers on hand so that you can use that to sort of wipe the panel clean and see what's going on. These are just the cheap ones. I think I got them from Aldi. They do the job. For now, but yeah, for your final polishing stage, you want to use the good fluffy ones. But this is basically all I'm doing. So this block here is sort of a semi-rigid one. It's not a fully hard one, and I'm using 1200 grit sandpaper. And basically your orange peel is your guide coat, if that makes sense. So when you can no longer see any orange peel, and I'll show you what I mean by that. If you look here, you can still see the shiny spot. So basically, when it's no longer shiny, you're pretty much there. But yeah, some people do hit this with, say, 800 grit. I don't want to have to refine 800 grit scratches. Nightmare. It's hard enough to refine these 1200 grit scratches, to be honest, because these definitely don't sand out. Sorry, polish out. Rightio, so that's it. That's the first stage done. That's 1200 grit on the yeah, the sort of hard-ish block. So not fully hard, but as you can see there, it's got a little bit of rubberiness to it. Yeah, 1200 grit. I did that whole thing. Now what I've decided to do is down the sides, when I painted this, I only put 3 coats of clear coat, right? So I did that because I was always planning on just hitting it straight with the, say, 1500 or 2000. I might just go straight 2000. So what I'm going to do is when I'm 2000ing this, I'm going to do the top of that quarter panel just to see what I'm going to sort of, as a bit of a test panel, just to sort of show me what I can expect from down the sides. What I have done up the top of this quarter panel, I did give that a block as well, so I've sort of got the 2 sides. I can say, well, that's what I can expect. If I don't block it, that's what if I do block it. So I'm confident that there would be enough material with 3 coats to block it if I decided to do that. But I don't think I'm going to. Either way, I was contemplating whether or not I should use the interface pad or not, but I think I'll just go without it, because, yeah, it's going to get it a bit flatter that way. Oh! The car alarm didn't like that buzzing. There we go. Yeah, actually that orange peel's still there, I can see it. So I think I might have to block it. To get the finish I'm looking for, I think I will have to block it. I can still see that orange peel's still there. It might have sort of smoothed it off a little bit, but no. So this is what I was talking about in another video, guys. This Roops machine is piss weak. Absolute piss weak, man. Have a look at this. So it's working fine with no interface pad on it, right? So that's just a 2000 grit straight onto the backing pad. That's working fine, no worries. Spinning around nice and fast. Put the interface pad on, and it just stalls constantly. And the same thing was happening when I was using the water with it. Have a look at that. It's not spinning around anymore. It's doing stuff all. Have a look at that. I'm not even putting any pressure on it. That's literally just the sander, the weight of the sander. You put pressure on it, it's definitely no better. Yeah, what a piss weak thing. Alright, so I did kind of change the way I was going at it. I used about 2 of these on that boot lid and it just didn't feel like it was doing much. So I did sort of change method of repair, as they say, and I got that 1500 Trizac and I decided to give that another go. I think partly what was going on is 1200 to 2000 is too big of a jump. So I'm hitting it with a 1500, then I'll go 2000, 3000. But also, this does seem to be performing okay. I noticed that, yeah, anytime I put that interface pad on, like the soft pad, it just stopped working. Like you'd sort of lose rotation. But yeah, it seems to be working okay now, so that's good. There you go. So that's it in the 2000 grit stage. So I tried going 1200 straight to the 2000. It was too big of a leap. It was taking forever. I think it had a tiny little section done and I'd already burned through 3 pads. So I stopped and I did end up going back to these 1500 grit Trizac, but they're wet. They have to be used wet, these Trizacs. I'm pretty sure all the Trizac are meant to be used wet. So yeah, I only ended up using 1 pad. So this is a good example of, yeah, the efficiency that you'll get out of the Trizac compared to the normal sandpaper. So these I counted and there was 10 of them. Now to be fair, 3 of them were from before I hit it with the 1500. So realistically, probably 7 or 8 you'd need for a panel that size. So it definitely is expensive. Yeah, the sandpapers are expensive and you do burn through a lot of them. But one thing that I was thinking when I was using them is a bit of advice. Just burn through them. If you burn through them, burn through them. When they're done, they're done. You know what I mean? Like once you start losing performance, you don't want to push them too far because yeah, I don't know, they just don't work properly. But yeah, the next thing I'm going to do, so that's all 2000, right? I'm pretty sure I've got rid of all those block marks of 1200. But I did notice there was some around this side that I missed with the 1500, whereas that side was okay. So this is where I started from. I started from there and worked my way over here. So obviously that Trizac, the 1500, was starting to sort of die off a little bit. Another thing that I do, like you sort of do it systematically, don't just do a bit here and a bit there. You can get away with just doing wherever when you're sanding a car down for paint, because the orange peel or the gloss is your guide coat, if that makes sense. But here, you really want to sort of, because you haven't got, well, I don't have any guide coat, so you really want to do it a bit more systematically like that, up, down, across, and work over each section sort of 5 to 8 times, something like that, you know, 5 to 8 passes, and that should generally do it. But yeah, next thing I want to do is, I was thinking of using these again, but maybe even dry. Just give it a shot, and if it doesn't work dry, maybe go wet, because you can use these wet or dry, these ones. So that's 2000 grit. Now it is already hit with 2000 grit, but I just thought, just mainly for the sake of just removing any of the 1500 that I may have missed and the 1200 that I may have missed. So it's just an extra go over with the 2000 grit. So anyway, let's give it a shot. Alright, so I just gave it a hit with the 3000 grit, wiped it all down. I'm pretty happy with it. Fingers crossed we're gonna get it right the first time, but I'm expecting a few little spots that I'll have to sand back. Either way, we'll hit it with the 5000 now. So that's it after 5000 grit. As you can see, it's basically already polished. It's sort of half shiny already. So yeah, as I was doing the sanding there, I wanted to make one point, right? The most important part of doing polishing like this is not polishing at all, it's the sanding. So yeah, just remember that. The sanding is the important part. The polishing is just a little bit at the end, pretty much. Wow, that's looking a lot better than the bonnet. There was scratches all through the bonnet. Oh well, I nailed it. Woohoo! Have a look at that. Wow. All the hours, all the time and effort, it's worth it. It is worth it at the end, guys. Woo! Yeah, just gotta hit some of those corners, the edges, the hard to reach spots with the mini polisher. Oh my god, guys, I can't say how happy I am. I don't know why, but it's just like I nailed that the first time and I've only cut it, but it just looks incredible. I could just start licking it like, oh, biting it, peeling it like an orange. Loves it. Anyway, on to the next step. So I actually just decided to do this as I was polishing. I thought, you know what? I might incorporate that Sonax Ultimate cut because it's not quite as coarse as the 3M, but I'm using it kind of like a finesse it. If you're familiar with the 3M finesse it, that's what I'm using this for. So like in between your cut and polish stage. Oh, yes. Yes, yes, yes. Alright, so that's after 2 cuts. I use the 3M Fast Cut and then the Sonax Ultimate. So next up, what I'm going to do is just spray some of this. So this is a alcohol-based cleaner. So it's basically just methylated spirits mixed with water. And what that should do is remove any of those oils or greases. Some people like to call them fillers, but whatever. It should let you know exactly where you're up to if you have missed any sanding scratches, which it's actually looking really good. And I can barely believe it, but I got that right the first time. So considering how bad the bonnet was, I was expecting to have to revisit a few bits here and there, but I've obviously honed my skills in a little bit, and yeah, I'm doing much better. So it's looking really good, really good. Got it first time, absolutely nailed it. So good. I know I'm gonna have some armchair experts in the comments. You're not meant to put the polish on the car. Oh mate, it makes such a big difference. I just want the polish to be where I want the polish, if you know what I mean. When I get to that spot, I want it a little bit more polished. That's why I do it that way. Either way, whatever works for you, mate. Whatever floats your boat. Miss the detailer. You might slow it down a little bit. That's what I like to do. As you go finer with the polishes, I like to slow the buff down a bit. Alright, so to finish it off, I'm going to hit it with the nano polish. That's NP0306. So that's comparable to the 3M Ultra Fine. So going to use that with the 3M blue pad, the big large waffle one. Yeah, You can draw your favorite detailer's face on there and then rip into it if you like. Shout out to Baxter, he's my favorite detailer. Go guys, so that is it, and it looks absolutely incredible. So what I did here was I orbital sanded that first with 2000 grit, and I realized, because you can still, like with 2000 grit, you can actually get your eye into the finish. You can see the kind of finish that you got. So 2000 grit was not quite enough to knock that orange peel out. I was just doing a test piece to see what I should do down the side. So 2000 grit is not enough. But then what I did is I got the 1500 grit, gave it a good buzz, like, and hung on there for a minute, not just sort of until you can't see any shiny spots. I actually did sort of hang on there just to knock that peel out. And it's definitely not quite at this level, like it's not dead flat like that is. But I think for the sides, I'll probably just do that. So let's see if we can get you in on the light there. You probably can't notice much of a difference there. But I don't know if you can see that. Yeah, no, I can. I've got a little viewing window here. Like I can see, like that's ultra sharp. Like there's no waves or ripples in it. Whereas if you look at this bit here, you can just see it's sort of just a little imperfect, but how good does it look? Even down here, like I was just sitting there having a look at, because I did that bit too. I don't know, like it's those little bits of attention to detail. Like when I get time, I'll probably do all this kind of stuff as well. You know, just sit there with the mini buff and even do the bumpers. Why not? I noticed that I actually got a bit of killer suck back through those bumpers, because with the bumpers, I prepped them in the last week before I painted it. So it didn't get as long to fully cure up and shrink back. So it shrank back after I painted it, but never mind, I'll buff it up with the buff. But yeah, how good does that look, guys? Absolutely incredible. Yeah, one thing that I was very impressed with is that I didn't get any sanding scratches. Like on the bonnet, I got heaps of 1200 grit scratches and 1500 grit scratches that came back. Whereas here, I didn't get any of it. So that was really good. Have a look at that. But yeah, anyway guys, hopefully you did enjoy watching this video. If you did, be sure to give it a big thumbs up. It's been a hell of a ride to get here, but I tell you what, I'm really happy. And it's definitely not finished yet. I've got a lot of work to do all the sides, and it still needs a good detail as well. Like I've got to go over all those door jambs, give it a hand polish and a mini polish here and there. So yes, it's definitely got a few more hours left in it, but that is the finished product. And the next step is I'm going to be hitting it with some of this. I'm actually about to do this, so I will be recording a video of myself applying this very soon. But yeah, if you guys do want any Sonax products, you can go to, and if you're in Australia, right? So sonax.com.au, I have a purchase code, so Gunman10. If you guys buy anything from Sonax Australia, you'll get a 10% discount. So I thought that was pretty cool. Like I say, I really don't quite rate the Ultimate Cut, but pretty much all of their other products I'm really happy with. They've now got 3 of these ceramic coatings, and like I say, I'm about to review this one. I've used the CC36, and that is a good one. So that's the one that I've got behind here. Here's a new box of it. So that's the CC36. That stuff lasted on my Corolla for about 2 years. And since then, I've kind of been boosting it with a bit of a spray sealant. So that's been working well. But yeah, I just love the bead that you get. As I was saying, I think at the start of this video, I love the way that the water beads up over those ceramic coatings. But like I say, if you guys do want anything from Sonax, and yeah, like they've got all these kind of cleaning products, you know, little things like that, even wash mitts, soap, and just, yeah, it's not all just about polishing. So anyway, if you do want, just go head over there. I'll put a link in the description. Gunman10, so it's a 10% discount. My name, sonax.com.au. Anyway, until next time, get out there and buff some shit, baby. Look at that. It's awesome. So good. Wow.